I'm not done, and I'm okay with that. Whether you've ever had something happen and immediately tried to figure out what it was supposed to teach you, or you've looked back and realized you had no clue what it meant at the time. Thanks for finding me on Coffee with Dubs. Today we're talking about the pressure we put on ourselves to turn every experience into some kind of a lesson. Good morning and welcome back to Coffee with Dubs. I think we've gotten really used to explaining our lives while still living them. Something happens and almost immediately we start trying to figure out what it means. Was it good for me? Was it bad for me? What am I supposed to take from all this? And sometimes I think that's way too much pressure to put on any moment that hasn't even had time to settle yet. And I do this too. Something happens and my brain starts working on the story almost before the thing's even over. I start thinking about how I'd explain it, what the bigger point might be, whether there even is one. And being fair, sometimes it's useful because it helps me make sense of stuff. But other times, I think I'm trying to force an answer because sitting with the I don't know yet is uncomfortable. That's probably one of the stranger things about getting older. You realize how many moments you thought you understood at the time that ended up looking completely different later. Something you thought was a huge deal turns out to be a footnote. Something that felt meaningless at the time ends up sticking with you for years. So maybe our first interpretation isn't always the one you should trust the most. I say everything is content all the time, and I still believe that, but I don't mean everything has to become a story right away. Sometimes the content is just the experience itself, and maybe you don't know what to do with it yet. We live in a time where everything gets documented so fast. You can have a great day, and by the end of it, you're already making a post about why it mattered. You can have a terrible day and immediately start trying to turn it into some kind of growth moment. But what if it's just Tuesday? What if something went wrong and there isn't a beautiful takeaway hidden underneath it? I think we get uncomfortable with that because we like closure. We want a clean ending. We want to be able to say, this happened and I'm okay with it, I understand now. But life is usually a lot messier than that. Sometimes you learn something months later. Sometimes you change your mind about what an experience meant. And sometimes the thing never turns into anything more than the thing that happened. I don't think that makes it meaningless. Maybe meaning doesn't always show up on schedule. There have definitely been times in my life where I was too close to something to understand it. I thought I knew how I felt because I was still in the middle of reacting to it. Then some time passed and the whole thing looked different. That's probably why I'm trying to get a little more comfortable with not naming everything immediately. I don't need every hard moment to become a breakthrough. I don't need every good moment to be some giant statement about gratitude or perspective. Sometimes I just want to enjoy something without turning it into homework. And I think that's part of being present too. If I'm always trying to figure out what a moment means, I'm not fully in the moment anymore. Part of me is already standing outside of it trying to write a summary. And that's a weird way to live when you think about it. It's like finishing a meal while you're already writing the review in your head. And I think there's freedom in saying, I don't know what that means yet. Not in a confused or helpless way, just an honest way. Maybe I'll know later, maybe I won't. And maybe that's fine. I'm starting to think reflection works better when it's not forced. The things that actually stay with you usually come back on their own. You'll be driving somewhere, making coffee, doing something completely unrelated, and suddenly an old moment makes more sense than it did when you were standing inside of it. That kind of understanding feels more real to me because you didn't drag it out of yourself just to have an answer. So I guess today I'm giving myself permission to leave some things unfinished. Not unresolved in some dramatic way, just unfinished. Some experiences don't have to have a conclusion the same day they happen. Thanks for joining me on another Pour of Coffee with Dubs. Until next time, remember, maybe not every chapter needs a lesson at the end. Sometimes you just turn the page, see what makes sense. Now, I'm gonna go make sense of things. I'll see you later. I'm out.